What's up everyone, it's TyranitarTube and let's talk about some popular ideas in Pokemon. Shank that like button, let's go. The first one is about Megas in Sinnoh remakes. I really hope Dynamaxing isn't in Diamond Pro remakes. So obviously this is the running thought for Gen 4 remakes. In Auras, they continued the Mega Evolution thing that was in X and Y and brought over a reason for Megas to exist in Auras. And now for Sword and Shield, it's supposed to be gigantamaxes for Diamond Pro remakes. The idea would be Gigantamax Dialga, Gigantamax Palkia, Gigantamax Giratina. But Mega Evolution in X and Y actually added to the Hoenn lore. They showed that Kyogre and Groudon had this Mega Evolution-like form, a primal version where their powers peaked. And Rayquaza had a Mega form in the sense of it having a controlled primal version and also is like the one natural Mega Evolution in the world. So with Auras, they didn't just add more Megas, they kind of continued what Mega Evolution is. I guess the idea is that Xerneas and Yveltal caused it somehow in the ancient weapon that was launched back then. And what AZ did pretty much, AZ visits Hoenn and spreads the Mega Evolution, that's what it seems. And also I guess it's implied when Rayquaza destroys Deoxys' meteor, certain Megastones appear, don't they? Anyhow, the point is everyone obviously wants Megas in Sinnoh remakes. People want Primal Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, some sort of Primal Arceus, Mega Infernape, Mega Gliscor, Mega Rhyperior. People want that feeling back from X and Y of just this special further evolution in Pokemon. So let's see, what's the answer to this? The first answer is that it's not gonna happen. They're gonna use Gigantamaxes because half of the reason they do what they do in games is for reasons outside of the game you're playing. The whole Gen 6 season was about using Megas. You and your opponent have one Mega, and that's like the center of your team. This is the season of Gigantamaxing. They're not gonna make Gigantamaxes in Sword and Shield, and then if Diamond Pro remakes come out next year, not make Gigantamaxes, but make it Megas. They would do something like expanding Sword and Shield's lore. Currently as it stands, there should be no Gigantamaxes in Sinnoh, but also as it stood, there should be no Megas in Hoenn. It takes place in a different sort of universe. It's quite easy to expand the Dynamax lore to Sinnoh. You just say a part of Eternatus also was in the sky back there. And so there's like Dynamax spots in Sinnoh's ground as well. And by bringing in Dynamaxes when Sinnoh remakes come out, it makes all 4 games a Dynamax level ground. Sword and Shield fights with Temporal Diamond, Gigantamaxes. That's the theme of this season. And I'ma say 9 out of 10 futures, it is gonna be Dynamaxes in Sinnoh. Might be fun, but there is 1 out of 10 futures which I'll tell you, which is that yes, the metagame is meant to be about Dynamaxes, and it would be odd if they suddenly left Dynamaxes and went back to Megas for Sinnoh remakes. But they could do this. They could do a thing where it's like colliding. So Sword and Shield and Galar has Dynamaxes. People from Sinnoh have Mega Evolution. And so it's like a clash of 2 different kind of regions. So on your team, you could have your Dynamax and have a Mega Evolution, but the lore would be that Dynamax is from Galar and Mega Evolution is from Sinnoh. That's the 1 out of 10 future. That they will drop Dynamax and go to Megas in Sinnoh under like the pretense that Dynamaxes are exclusive to Galar but will still exist in Sinnoh. They're gonna do what they did with Auras and give Dialga and Palkia Gigantamax forms, even though they're already huge, like how they gave Kyogre and Groudon the Mega-like forms.
It really bugs me how big of a retcon that is, but Primal is a thing too.
You mean the retcon that Groudon and Kyogre have primal forms? Why can't you guys just... You want primal forms back, but then you don't like the fact that they retcon that. You hate Mega Evolution, and then when they leave it, you want it back. Anything can change in Pokemon, so if they see that Dynamaxing isn't perceived well, they'll just go to Mega. They'll make Mega Charizard W and V. You think I'm kidding? Why wouldn't they make more Charizards? It's like the most popular Pokemon. They make money by just making a quick Charizard form. I feel like if Game Freak wanted to do it right, they could even make Gigantamaxes work very well in Sinnoh. People say Megastones are in Sword and Shield's DLC data mines, but it doesn't really mean anything because I guarantee you in the code is also like the old items from Gen 2. They just seem to keep it as they make more and more games, all the old items. I tell you, bringing in Megas will work for Gen 4 remakes with the Dynamax thing they got going on. Just make them cross over. They can do this perfectly. And don't you just get like this inner cool feeling imagining like Primal Palkia and the same kind of vibes you got from Oraz versus Gigantamax Palkia, which again can work if they do it right. If you have like an Eternatus like boss battle, it works, but for being a Pokemon game, we're so much more closer to the feeling Oraz gave us. For the first time in 4 years, we are not getting a main series Pokemon game this year. Yes, the last time this happened was in between Oraz and Sun and Moon. 2015 was the blank period. This is one of the reasons the DLC is good, because a huge part of their team is obviously working on Sinnoh remakes or whatever the next game is behind the scenes, and the DLC is like an easier project. Opinion, Black and White were a high point in the franchise. Listen, we know this. Alright, we know this. The thing I probably loved best about Sword and Shield, when you become the champion, you feel like the champion. Yes, I agree with this too much. This was probably my favorite thing in Sword and Shield as well, which is the fact that being a trainer is normally something that doesn't matter to the whole world. But in Sword and Shield, everyone is so involved with whoever's gonna become the champion. It's like a whole season of watching these specific trainers for like 9 months until one of them make it to the end and fight the champion, and it's a big deal and you feel the title of being the champion. I want this in Diamond and Pearl, but I don't know how they can implement it. I'm okay with them making Sinnoh a region where everyone's involved and watching the gyms and stadiums again. It's probably important for a Pokemon game. Like when you're fighting Leon, you really felt bad that you're about to take away his never lost streak. You kind of feel like the whole world is watching and that it is a big deal. Now that I think of it, it kind of would have been a sick idea if the region was watching you fight Eternatus. You have to rewatch the cutscene, but the point of what happens atop Rose's tower with Leon is he throws the Pokeball at Eternatus and it's actually a critical capture. Trust me, I watched this scene a couple times and I realized this. It's a critical capture, which means it just has to wiggle and then it stop and it captures. So it wiggles on Eternatus, but then it's about to break free. And what Leon does is he turns and he knows it's about to break free and he has Charizard protect you and Hop instead of protecting him. So he does the whole sacrifice thing. And because of that, there's no one left that can fight Eternatus but you and Hop. It's kind of hard to make that out, and it makes a lot more sense. It feels like you're in this tense situation, and despite being 15 or 10, the whole world is relying on you. It kind of works out once you realize that. But it all just happens so fast. Anyhow, what I was gonna say is I think it'd be sick if, almost like you're in a gym stadium, if like surrounding that tower were all the people watching you fight Eternatus. Anyhow, the more you think about that idea, it doesn't make sense because you were fighting Eternatus in some time-space mess-up, so I don't think anyone was gonna see you. Gen 6 had the best ideas and aesthetic. Okay, this is gonna be our last one. I kind of agree with this. And you know, you guys talk about this in the comments. There's a certain divide in Pokemon between sprites and 3D models. Pokemon Coliseum was sick, but there's something about Pokemon just being a sprite, about it being tiles, a grid that you're walking on, that's so good. And Gen 6 kind of had the perfect split between 3D models and that tile system still. The little chibi icons, yeah, you could look at them as gross. Like right now, if I look up Wally's icon, look. Yeah, that's what it was. It does look odd, but it feels a bit more closer to the Pokemon that we like here on the docks. When it gets too 3D, it feels a bit more distanced, but obviously you can't argue with change, or in this case, it's not just change, it's an improvement, making it 3D models. And in my opinion, this is why I was really looking forward to Pokemon Z, because we had Mega Evolution, that serpent inside the Terminus Cave, all these other mysteries, and it never came out. Funny enough, the little chibi 3Ds that we had in Oraz and XY, weren't their facial expressions fine? Like, did a Maxie make some weird faces? As opposed to, oh, I will never forget this, when Eternatus is there, and I guarantee you, in my mind, I think Hop is smiling. When the camera pans from Eternatus to you, he's smiling with that creepy music playing. I will never forget that. Imagine your favorite part in any show, an emotional scene where someone dies. But instead of the other dude crying, just imagine a smiling face is like deep faked onto it. And it's just...
I'll just tell all the other Pokemon that you're on a trip. And you'll come back someday, maybe.
Maybe Game Freak struggles when there's too much on their plate with 3D models. Maybe they can't fix the faces. Maybe X and Y and Oraz kind of had the perfect mix and balance for them to be able to handle it all. I don't know. I've spoken enough. I'm gonna call it quits here. Shank that like button. Let's see. 6K likes, I'll do this again, yeah? We'll find some more fun stuff to talk about. Or you guys submit me some. Alright, I'll see you on the next video. Take care.
Bitch, I'm the man. Give me my spot on that throne. They didn't want me to grow. They didn't know I would make all of them go. I did it all on my own. Man, what was you? When I was trapped in my zone, never had nothing to own. Now it's all good. All of that frontin' is gone. I'm out here stunning for show. Bitch, I'm a pro.